Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to two of my patrons, AdriRaven and Nazzul, though you may know them better as Dame Adriana and Luzon. Thanks for your continued support, guys. That said, let's get started. The results of our raid on the Cove had been quite promising. Despite heavy resistance from both vampires and other hideous creatures, the recruits had returned with a hefty pile of gold, gems, and other valuables in tow. They had even recovered a fine sword, a relic of some ancient war and something new for our crusaders to squabble over. More importantly, Sober reported that she had spotted the fanatic, trailing their wagon from the moment it had left the hamlet. But with no obvious infected among their number, it seemed as if he had simply lost interest well before they had reached their destination. This was valuable information. If that madman was willing to ignore our uninfected recruits, then perhaps we could use that to our advantage. My thoughts immediately turned toward smuggling Dakram out of the hamlet with our next expedition, perhaps in disguise or surrounded by other uninfected recruits, to help keep her hidden from the fanatic's view. Unfortunately, despite my best efforts, the antiquarian was nowhere to be found. I was just about to put together a search party when Alistair set my mind at ease. The elder vampire was deep in his cups at the local tavern, but he reassured me that Dakram was just fine. The stress of infection and being perpetually hunted by a superhuman psychopath had simply taken its toll, and she just needed some space while she came to grips with it all. Given the circumstances, it seemed like a fair request. I was in need of the antiquarian's expertise, but I would simply have to make do without it for the time being. I returned my attention to the many notes and maps that Dakram had left me with, and began plotting our next expedition. Fortunately, there were no shortage of prospects, and it was Dame Adriana who first proposed returning to the Cove. The blade our last expedition had recovered was a relic of the old Crusades, clearly stolen from some battlefield by the smugglers who had once lurked beneath the old manor house. One of our newer recruits, the young rogue named Kilroy, reluctantly admitted that she had dealt with those smugglers on one or two occasions in the past. They had apparently specialized in collecting all manner of ancient relics and antiquities, at least until their sudden disappearance years ago. Despite the inherent dangers, I had to agree, it was simply too good an opportunity to pass up. Both Adriana and Kilroy were obvious choices, given their part in suggesting this new expedition, but I rounded the party out with two of our more faithful recruits, Bunny and Luzon. Imagine a king's bounty worth of ill-gotten gain simply left abandoned beneath the old manor. It was almost too good to be true.
Prying eyes had become a nuisance along the old road, and so I undertook to receive my most curious deliveries by way of marine shipments. A sheltered jetty was accessible by a narrow stone stair off the back of the manor, and a discreet system of pulleys could hoist even the heaviest prizes up the rock face from a securely tied dinghy below. The poor devils, chained and drowning for eternity.
And welcome back to episode 36. Well, I originally planned to do a loot run today, but unfortunately, Dakram decided to go AWOL, so I had to come up with something else to do. That means today we're headed into another boss dungeon instead as we take on the Sodden Crew. It's just as well, really, because I think this is actually the last of the low-level bosses that we still need to defeat. Not counting the Baron, of course. As with some of the other bosses, I only have limited experience with the Sodden Crew, but I do seem to remember him being one of the easier bosses to beat. I guess we'll just have to see how this goes. Anyway, let's meet our heroes. Dame Adriana, Luzon Nazzul, Kilroy, Bunny, Okay, looks like Luzon is ready to go, so let's get started. That's a surprisingly small map for a boss dungeon. Though we do have several mandatory combat encounters. Okay, given the layout, the boss fight is probably over here, so let's take care of that first, and then we can clear the rest of the dungeon. Heirlooms, always nice. Okay, looks like they're starting us off relatively easy.
Destroyed.
One down already.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
That's two. There's a couple of minor hits on us, but certainly nothing to worry about.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Very nice.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
A Trampled Journal, page 2 of 4. We fought in the East Gallery, filled with portraits of our ancient lineage, uncaring witnesses to the slaughter. Alhazred, the fiery heartbeat of our retinue, wrought keen havoc on our enemies' ranks. I keenly feel his absence, even as I remember voiding myself upon seeing his lifeless body fall, blood pouring from his screaming mouth, some cruel knife having rent his lungs to gore. Yet we were victorious, and thus we press on. Grim stuff. I don't know if I'll make a habit of reading all the journal entries, but I really hate to keep ignoring them. Ooh, looks like we just found a secret door. We'll come back for that once we've killed the boss. But for now, we press on. And that is a throbbing cocoon. Sadly, we can't burn those for stress heals anymore, so we'll just ignore it for now. Looks like another fairly straightforward fight. We'll go for the casters first.
Well struck.
I don't think we can kill both of them, so let's go for a stun.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Obliterated.
Very nice. Of course, now they get a chance to actually fight back. Nice dodge. Okay, let's take out that caster. Actually, he's about to drop, so let's delay for some healing.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Let's go for another heal.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Nicely done. Now, we're entirely out of inventory space already, so let's just push on to the boss for now. Uh-oh. Okay, that was wasteful, but it definitely could have been worse. Huh. Another nice, straightforward fight. I'm surprised we haven't run into any vampires yet.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Unfortunate, but easily fixed.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Ooh, right. We need to give Luzon some blood. Okay, we could delay for healing, but let's not push our luck.
Decimated.
Well, there's some blood for Luzon. That's convenient. And we are completely out of inventory space. I hate to do it, but let's dump the journal entry. At least we got to read it ahead of time. Right. We're not actually looting yet. Sorry, force of habit. This would be a tougher fight, but not with surprise on our side. Casters first, as usual. Oof, both casters are still up. Let's go for a stun. Nice. Round 2. Fight. Please don't do that. Thank you.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, one left. Let's go for some healing. I guess we could tenderize those corpses. There we go. Let's finish this. Once we can target him.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's
Oh,
end.
shoot. We could have actually taken that gold. Oh well. I'm sure we'll find plenty before this is all over.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule. wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Oops, wrong item. There we go. Okay, beyond this door is the Sodden Crew. I've got a pretty good idea of how to beat them, but things may have changed in some of the recent updates. Here we go.
Even in death, the captain shouts his orders, and the crew obeys.
Okay, so if I recall correctly, that guy in the front will hit one of us with an anchor and then they'll start to drown. But we can ignore him until he actually does that. If I can actually stun that guy, that'll buy us an extra turn. Ah, it was worth a shot. Now we need to take out that anchor man. Alright, focus fire on the Anchorman. Ooh, she's drowning pretty quickly. Okay, so it's just doing stress damage to her. That's not so bad. There we go. Oh, okay. Okay, so Nazzul can't attack, but if he shuffles forward, then Dame Adriana can use Holy Lance. Yeah, there we go. Let's go for the main crew. Ow. Alright, let's get Kilroy back into position. Man, undead really seem to hate grave robbers. I wonder why. There's the halfway mark. We just need to keep piling it on. Let's toss out some healing. And let's see if we can take out that Anchorman early. Ah, so close. Alright, let's take out the Anchorman. Again. Kilroy can't really do anything to the Anchorman, so I guess we'll keep her focused on the main crew. Don't panic, guys, but Demetriana's about to break. Oh, you know what I should do is move Nazzul up to the front. Then he'll be targeted by the next anchorman. Though, they are starting to wear his sanity down, too. Still, he's better off than Adriana is. We're getting very close here. Okay, let's see if we can finish this.
Finally, a sailor's death for captain and crew. Fitting.
Very nice. Just a shame the rewards weren't worth it. Okay, now that we've got the boss out of the way, we can get some rest and clear out the rest of the dungeon. First, though, let's clear some space in our inventory.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
That frees up 2 spaces. It's not much, but it definitely helps. Now let's toss out some stress heals. We could risk using gallows humor, but that has a chance of backfiring. Yeah, let's just play it safe for now. Okay, Dame Adriana's still got some stress on her, but she's also got 40% stress reduction, so she should be fine.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Moving on. Oh, let's rearrange our lineup. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but nothing's jumping out at me.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Mostly supplies, but I guess we can use that shovel. Alright, we've got one completely unexplored hall ahead, so we might be in for a fight.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Another journal entry. A trampled journal, page 1 of 4. Sebastian's watch was his last. We were jolted during our evening's repast, the best we could make in these murky halls of our once great house, from the roar and flash of black powder. We dropped our bowls and hurried to him. All we could find was his spent pistol and a trail of blood leading into a maze of shadows. We press on. I'm sensing a bit of a pattern here. You know, I'm actually glad I started reading these. They're pretty short, but also pretty interesting. Nice dodge. Okay, nothing down here, so back we go. Looks like a trap appeared, though. Let's just double check here. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, I'll have to check the patch notes, but I'm starting to think that those throbbing cocoons may have replaced the vampire encounters. I've frequently criticized how the vampires basically take over these other dungeons, but this might be a fair compromise. Basically, the vampires are still here, but you get to choose if you want to confront them. In the long run, it means you'd get less invitations and vials of blood, but you'd also have a much better chance of preventing the infection from spiraling out of control. You know what? We're actually doing pretty well here. It might be time to push our luck. If we douse our torches, then not only are we guaranteed to find better treasure, but we could also free up 2 more inventory spaces. Of course, the downside is it will disable some of our trinkets, but that's a small price to pay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
And of course, they immediately give us a torch. I can't remember what you do with those. Probably best to ignore it for now. Another small group of fishmen. Nothing we can't handle. Took a few hits, nothing to worry about.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Oh, very nice. One more to go.
This expedition at least promises success.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And yet another throbbing cocoon, which I think reinforces my theory. That's 3 vampire encounters that we could choose to skip if we wanted to. Again, I'll have to double check the patch notes, but if this works the way I think it does, then I strongly approve. Okay, brace yourselves, heroes. Another fairly easy fight. This should be quick. Truly the most heavily armored of enemies. The snails are pretty trivial. We basically won this fight already.
A devastating blow.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, let's make some room for that onyx. We'll swap it out for the jade. There's another stone disc. Still don't know what to do with them. Though I do remember you shouldn't hit them with shovels. Ah, now they're getting a bit tougher. Casters first, whenever possible. Okay, the Acolyte's about to drop, so let's stun one of those frontliners. Nice. Nice try, but too little, too late. Well, might as well finish the other caster for the stress heal.
Inspiration and improvement.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Alright, let's dump the rest of those torches. Oh, and this is a chance to use up some holy water.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
We're not finding a lot of high-value loot, but at least we're finding a decent amount of heirlooms. Let's dump these bandages. We haven't really needed them anyway. In fact, let's use up that holy water too. We could really use the inventory space. Two more rooms, 2 more halls, 4 more fights. Let's get started. Well, this should be quick. Nice hit.
The ground quakes.
Oops, let's not raise the light level.
death by inches.
Well, an easy fight, but not much of a reward. Ooh, now that's what I'm talking about. Lovely sapphires. Okay, now let's get rid of those bandages. Oh, bandits. It's been a while since we've seen these guys.
A decisive pummeling.
Let's see if we can take out that Fusilier first. Those guys are pretty annoying. That'll do it. Now the cutthroat. Oh.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Yikes. Well, we're fine. Alright, let's take out the big guy.
Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Okay, let's start dumping supplies. We're almost done here. We've only got one curio left, so I think we can afford to dump the medicinal herbs at this point. Yeah, let's move on. Alright, Luzon, help yourself. Oh, another journal entry. We'll check that out in just a second. Blood-soaked pages torn from a journal. Page 4 of 6. They are sleeping. I am kept from slumber by a distinct stream of whispers, as if carried by the currents and waves of the sea. I have not told them that most of my flesh is sloughed off, revealing a strange silvery membrane. I keep myself covered. They questioned me when I ate the meat raw at campfall, and found my response difficult to understand. I suppose it would be best to explain my condition when they awaken. Then they would be convinced of my urgency to leave and find aid in the hamlet. That's pretty intriguing. Anyway, we're on the last hallway, so I think we can get rid of the shovels at this point. Alright, let's see what we've got here.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Well, I was hoping for a trinket, but I guess several thousand gold worth of gemstones makes a good consolation prize. Of course, now we have to make room. We're definitely getting rid of the food, and I guess we could get rid of the obsidian, too. It's a risk, of course, but the odds of us getting hungry in the last half of a hallway are pretty slim. Okay, we're all set. We press on. Ooh, we've got some nice variety here. Nothing we can't handle, of course.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
No need to panic just yet, narrator. We're fine.
Ringing ears. Blurred vision. The end approaches.
That might be cause for concern.
Impressive.
No, we're fine.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Okay, one more room. Let's wrap this up. Fingers crossed. Let's do this. Oof, that's stress damage.
Precision and power.
Nice. I'm hoping we can get through this without anyone going crazy, but we'll see how it goes.
Annihilated.
One down.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
That's two.
Eradicated.
Well, that's three. We basically won at this point.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
So much treasure we have to leave behind. It's heartbreaking. Okay, I guess we're done here. $22,000 gold. Not too shabby. Plus we got that wounding helmet, though I'm not sure if we'll actually use it. Our bounty hunters do love punching monsters. No level ups. Oh, but that's actually a pretty solid trade, if you're willing to go without trinkets. Oh, and Dame Adriana picked up Witness. There's gotta be an interesting story there. Maybe she was unnerved by those journal pages we found. Goodness knows they were pretty grim. Anyway, we're well past the 30-minute mark at this point, but I figured you guys deserved an extra long episode. This also brought us just past the 30% mark for the campaign. We'll pause things for now, but we'll pick up here next time. See you then.